Hi, it's me. Welcome to the stream. Apologies for not having streamed for like a week. I mentioned this in the last stream that, I went back to work, this past week. So I have not been able to stream just because, when I get home, it's around a little after 5, and then, so there's like a very small 4 hour window between when I get home and when the person that I watch stream the most ends up streaming. And as well, a lot of people tend to start streaming around 7ish my time. So then it's just a matter of I can't really stream without stepping on anybody else's toes, and that feels bad. So instead, I just don't stream on work days. But we're back now. I guess we're just gonna do like weekend streams, Saturdays and Sundays. Couldn't do this past, well, I could have done it yesterday, but I decided not to because I was tired. But that's okay, we're back with more ball throw. We're back here and we have some ball throwing that we're going to do. Why is my, god damn, I forgot to do that. Good. Wondering why that was happening. I think my should be working. Is it working? Okay, it's working. I just wasn't sure if it was or not. Anywho, I accidentally, in attempting to get this little mod working, well, mod, quote unquote, in which I have, the cards have little, they have some tinted color to them now. It took me like 30 minutes to figure out how to, maybe an hour closer, to figuring out how that works. So now that we have that going, I feel less accomplished now than I did before. But we have our high contrast cards and they look nice. And I accidentally unlocked a Joker, trying to figure that out. Where is it? This one, I think? Maybe? It might be this one. I accidentally unlocked that one because I went back. I was just doing this to see if the cards would work. Obviously I'm not going to do that. When we last left off, though, I believe, yeah, we had not completed a single run, actually. I think my first run I completed was with the blue deck, but I don't remember. In any case, we have some fun music today. I have the casino playlist up. The official title of it is, Wario and Luigi open a casino and they want to take all your money. So we'll have that going on in the background because I don't like having the actual music of the game going on. Anywho, I hope you all are having a nice, not Wednesday, it's Sunday. Sunday evening, question mark? Let's go release the 100 items on a red deck. The last time we played this, we started off with red and blue deck. We now have yellow and green. We'll do the yellow deck first, just to get back into the swing of things. But I wanted to play today partially because playing it on my phone has been a little bit stressful. I am currently at a very difficult stake, that's what they're called. As you can see here, the little circles next to the numbers with the black things around them, black lines on them, are that's the stake. Our current stake is oh, it doesn't say. Our current stake is the white stake, and that's neat. I have no other mods on this particular thing because I don't really know what I want to do with this as of yet. Actually, hang on. What is their speed at? Our speed is still at 1. We're gonna keep it at 1 for a little bit longer. I typically actually play the game with the speed set at 2. Anything higher is a little bit for me. It's a little too fast for me, for my liking. I might end up downloading that mod that apparently is multiple, different, whatchamacallits, speeds, because that includes a 3 speed, because there's 1, 2, and 4, and what is it, 0.5 I think? Yeah, 0.5. So I might end up downloading that so I can get a 3 speed, see how that looks. and might play around with that. We got a little slowdown there. That's a bit strange. It's Casino Night Zone. Ba 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 da ski bop. We actually just got a straight though. Right away, I was going to do a flush, which is if you look at here, flushes are actually better than straights by 5 in the chips area. That's what it's called, I think. The chips, the blue chip zone. I know that the red one's the multiplier. I don't remember what the blue one was called, and we just went for the tutorial last time, but it's been over a week, so. In that case, we do have a straight that we can play. And it is, you know, slow, but I want to do that in order to, like, demonstrate, make it a little bit easier to tell what's going on. I also changed the video settings on this, so it's a little less CRT. I don't play with the CRT filter as much on my own copy. Michael's here! Michael's here right away! And this particular one, we actually, with the yellow deck, you actually start out with $10, and you earn some as you go along. So yeah, we have Michael here. He will be helpful later. I don't think I fully demonstrated Michael last time. I don't remember. I played a lot of other Balatro runs on my phone since then. But, Gros Michel has a 1 in 6 chance of being destroyed. It adds 15 to your multiplier, the red area over there on the left. And once it's destroyed, you will eventually get a much better banana that if we manage to make it through this run, we might see. Sometimes it just doesn't show up for me, and maybe it's because God hates me, maybe it's something else. We can also ride the bus, potentially. I guess we used this last time. It gains a +1 molt per consecutive hand played without scoring face card. I am like extremely stuffed up today. Howdy! I don't know why I'm so stuffed up right now. Ugh. I really gotta like dust in my room, like thoroughly dust in my room. Ugh. It is like bad in here. I am constantly dying. Apparently this is from, okay, this is from Mario Party 4. This is Goomba's Greedy Gala. I don't know the Mario Party 4 music that well. Never had it growing up as a kid. Though I probably should play that, like the actual real copy that my brother got for me some point on stream. I've never actually played my original, not the original Wii, but the second Wii that I have on stream, with the capture card that I had, that I originally started off streaming with. And I should at some point, because that capture card can actually do, CRT inputs, which is nice. So I should do that at some point, maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Let's also get this voucher, which is, well, actually, hang on. Let's do this first, because we actually haven't played a whole lot yet. Let's pick up a Celestial pack, which will help us out later on down the road. I explained all these before. Oh, we haven't discovered Earth yet. Level up the full house. I'm gonna keep feeling like I need to drag the cards around because that's how it works on the phone, because that's just like that. But, this particular voucher, allows it so that when you open up one of those Celestial packs, it always contains the planet card for your most played poker hand. So whichever sort of poker hands that you're going for per your run, this will help a lot with making sure that you continue to keep doing that. That you keep getting keep leveling up the hands that you get. Called the telescope. So now that one's redeemed, and we have our full house has now gotten a little bit better. It was originally 40 times 4? Yeah, 40 times 4. Now it's at 65 times 6. And right now, while we have straight as our only played hand, eventually we might start playing some other hands, such as the, full house. Double tag. I don't really need to skip. I mean, I could skip. We have Michael. He'll help a lot. Screw it, let's skip. And then now we have our boss is the goat, so all of our spade cards are debuffed and will not count towards the scoring. So we gotta watch out for that. You're kidding me. Alright. Well, let's see if we can accidentally get a 4 of a kind, which technically is... Well, let me do the math on that. This is... I've been trying to do the math a lot lately to see which hand is actually better. 4 of a kind is 60 times 7, so that's 6 times 7, and that's 42, right? So that's 420. Nice. And full house is 65 times 6, which is in between 6 times 6 and 6 times 7. With 6 times 7 being 42 and 6 times 6 being 36. 390. So technically speaking, 4 of a kind is still a little bit better than full house. Sorry, I'm probably going a little bit fast with explanations of how that works. That's just kind of how my mind works, and I'm trying to figure this stuff out on my own time. But let's get rid of these ones, cause they are not spades. Let's get rid of this one. Okay. Okay. Let's get rid of the 4s then, because we can potentially do this. Okay, we're out of discards. So let's play this instead. What the heck is this? Oh, it's Bug Fables. God dang it, it's trying to scrabble it again. Do not scrabble, please. Thank you. Alright. Now hopefully this will probably be enough to win in one hand. Let's play it. There you go. Michael helped us push through enough to get it passed in one hand. And he will remain with us for probably the whole entire run, because that's just how Michael seems to always work. When it says safe there, that means that it has not been destroyed. It will eventually say extinct, which I think did happen the last time I used Michael. But when it does say extinct, that means it destroys itself, obviously. But that'll be for later. Oh, we have 2 that I haven't discovered yet. I also haven't discovered this or this. Now the thing is that we are currently going for full houses. So I think right now, let's do this. Let's do the rerolls cost $2 less. Currently the rerolls cost $5. So this will be a little bit better for us if we don't like our options, or we have just all of our options are things that we already have discovered. I didn't mention before, my little rules for this particular run is that if a card is undiscovered, take it, even if it's to your detriment. And if the game gives you Wheel of Fortune, take it, even if it is to your detriment, because I thought it would be funny. And our boss coming up is the Mouth, which is play only one hand type this round, which is gonna be a little bit difficult if I'm going for full houses. Hopefully Michael stays with us long enough to let us pass through. Let's get rid of these cards, I guess. I was like, what's Kingdom Hearts doing here? But no, this is the one from Melody of Memory, which I did in fact play on stream a few years back. And it's a little bit jazzier than the normal Melody of Memory, the usual Dearly Beloved. That's what the song's called. Excuse me. I looked back through that game again, like a month or two ago, because I was curious. I probably mostly just to refresh my memory on the my Melody of Memory on the story beats that were in there, because there wasn't a whole lot, but I remember just a very vague amount of them. but like, it was interesting. Okay, so we already discovered the standard packs. We haven't discovered Venus yet, apparently, which is level up 3 of a kind. But we also haven't discovered this particular Joker, so let's go for it. And this is ramen. It is $2, not $2, it is times 2 to the mult. It multiplies the multiplication number that's already there in the red box by 2, but it loses 0.01, with what it can multiply each time you discard a card. Like how ramen tends to be like $1 or so, $1 to $2. So I think that's what it means necessarily, and also because you're eating it. It's one of those cards where it's a food item, so therefore it decreases in value over time because you're eating it, theoretically. We can also skip this blind to get a free Mega Arcana pack. I don't know how many Arcanas we have. Not very many so far. We actually don't have a lot. And the tags, I have gotten this tag before, so we don't necessarily need it. I'm going to play. I'm ready to play. So let's see here. So yeah, it's decreasing in value. Now it's at 1.96, which is unfortunate, but we got our full house, so it's fine. We might actually be able to do the boss in one go, because I've been getting consistently like 2,000 just with Michael, and that just makes it like increase to 4,000-ish, 5,000 almost. So we're already good. We're already set for making it through the boss, I think. And we still have this double tag, which will give us a copy of the next selected tag included. The next tag that we happen to skip for. But yeah, that's the Michael card. This is Gros Michel, I think is how you pronounce it. It's French. It was a variety of banana, or is a variety of banana? I don't remember. The thing about this card is that it's based on like real world, how we bred the like how there's banana flavored stuff which doesn't taste actually like bananas. We ended up breeding that particular variety of banana out of existence, unfortunately. Whoops! So, this is kind of a reference to that. What do we have here? Well, we haven't even gotten any tarot cards, so it's probably better if we get this one. Even though I just redeemed the reroll thing, but that's okay. We can sell this later. It does give us one free reroll per the shop. Chaos the Clown. I don't know who Chaos the Clown is. I'm gonna be honest. But we should probably go to our Celestial pack and up the, full house anyways. Just make it a little bit easier. What's this song? Is this Flunky? This is Sonic Adventure. Alright. Okay, next round. On to the boss. So we should just have a guarantee if the game decides to give me what I need. We already have a 2-pair, and there goes our ramen. Come on. Come on. Come on. There it is. Also, please let me know if anything is too loud or too quiet. If the music or the game are too quiet or too loud. Oops, excuse me. Yeah, see, we're fine. 5.5k, so... Oh, we just unlocked a Joker! Wonderful. Yeah, eventually we will have to get rid of ramen once it gets worse. This is another Sonic Adventure song. Hello. What's happening? It's the Funny Chow song. Venus is back. We also haven't discovered this one. And we also haven't discovered this voucher. I can sell this for the voucher. Accent, making a sound or something. Yeah, let's sell this to get the voucher. So this one, Planet cards will appear 2 times more frequently in the shop, which would be helpful if it didn't keep giving me Venus. But we can still potentially use Venus in the future. But for right now, whoop, Planet Merchant has been redeemed. Yeah, keep an eye on the ramen. All of our heart cards will be debuffed. Right now we just have a regular deck. There's no enhanced cards, nothing really funky about it, no duplicates or anything. So that will just cut 1/4 of our deck from being really viable, but we've already, you know, done what we could with it. I could actually skip this, because it gives me a free Mega Buffoon pack. And a Mega Buffoon pack lets you choose 2 up to 4 different Joker cards that it provides you with. And since we only have 2 Jokers right now, we can just get 3 Jokers right now because we have the double tag. Let's do it. Alright, Mega Buffoon pack 1. Let's see what we have. Alright, we have this one, this Joker, this one, which is pretty neat. So I guess we'll get both of these since they're both undiscovered. This is a fortune teller, and as it says here, it gives you +1 mult per tarot card we've used in this run. We haven't actually encountered any tarot cards yet because I skipped that Mega Arcana pack and it wasn't in the shop. There were like no tarot cards in the shop. And this one's also pretty good if you have the right tools. Each played card with a club suit gives 1.5 multiplication when scored, but the suit changes per round. So you have to watch out for that and see how that will play out. Here's the second Buffoon pack. We already have gotten the Diet Cola, Zany Joker. We don't have any card held in hand abilities that can help with this one. We trigger all card held in hand abilities. So right now that's kind of useless to us, but that in conjunction with this could potentially be good. I might just sell the fortune teller to get both of those, actually. That would be pretty good. I'm sorry, I moved it as if I was going to sell it because when you do it like this, the sell button's right here on mobile. I hate how the mobile makes it so much harder to play on PC. Yay! Let's get this one, the mine. And then we have this one, which all played face cards become gold cards when scored. And gold cards will give you $3 if they're held in the hand at the end of the round. Specifically at the end of the round, not at the end of your played hand. So this, in conjunction with this, means that I could potentially get $6 or more, like just per run once it gets really going. What's this one? Gives $1 per played hand this run, which will give me $5 because I played 5 hands. I don't really use this one too often, just because I end up skipping a lot of the blinds, but it could be helpful depending on what kind of run you're doing. Let's get back into it. What do we have? What do we have? Okay. I'll just get rid of these ones specifically. The higher the number, the probably better. Oh, and it gave me a 2 again. That's so cool. Alright. Let's do this again. My computer is really just not liking what's happening here. Hey! There's my queens. Alright, we're at 1.8 multiplier times, multiplying 1.8 for the per multiplier. I don't know how to word that right. The 8 number is gonna multiply by 1.8 at the end, but we do have this one, which will give us an additional, if I do 1.5 times 1.5 is, what's 15 times 15? 225? So that's 22.5? Is that right? Maybe. It might be incorrect. Well, it multiplies the entire thing, so that's different. Let's see in action. So now they're all gold. It's a little hard to see because I have the filter on, the new thing. But they are in fact gold. They have a little gold trim on them. Oh yeah, that was good. Extinct! Michael! You beautiful man, you. That almost never happens. Whenever I get Michael and my thing, it like stays for like 7 rounds. It sucks. Oh, hello, Mario Party 3? This is casino music? I guess it's casino music, sure, why not? Today I have some... Is this Diet Dr. Thunder or is this Diet Coke? I think this is Diet Coke. I don't remember. It might be Diet Dr. Thunder. So that's a +8 mult. Add 8 to the mult if played hand contains a pair. We are only playing full houses, so that will be incredibly helpful. Let's grab that. We have to be mindful of our face cards for sure as well. We still have aces and tens that we can use potentially, because all the face cards all have the same value as number 10, which is lovely. But let's do the Arcana pack. We can't do the Mega, so let's do the Jumbo. We actually can do an Arcana pack for once. Wow. Alright, so... creates 2 random tarot cards. We love that. We unlocked a new deck. The Black deck. And we've gotten the Hierophant and a Strafe. Which... ooh, I could lose my 10s. Actually, I should probably just put those on 9s if I happen to come across them. And the Hierophant I can put on my aces potentially. I don't know. We'll see. In any case, our heart cards are debuffed for this one. And what is our... You're kidding me. You're joking me. You gotta be. I can't believe my eyes. What's that song? I don't remember that song. What that song's called. We do have a plush here. We can do that instead. Play a little flush hand. Yeah. That's nice. That won't give us the bonus with Jolly Joker over there, but that's okay. It's still a pretty good start off, I say, as it's 500. Alright, well... the point still stands. I'm going to keep that 9 there so I can up it with strength, potentially. Give me a king or a jack. For God's sakes, game. Keeping that 9 there. I kind of want to keep the ace there as well, just in case. Ooh, really? Really? You know what? Do that. Oh, you can't actually see the bonus effect because of filters. Okay. I am going to have to do something about that. Uh-oh. A little hard to see that they're bonus cards now, because I have the tint on it. I didn't realize that, like, all these filters went underneath the cards and not over them. That's so cool. Anywho, make that a 10. Just the 1 card. And then put this in so I can get the pair going. We have 2 more hands left. We might lose this. It's entirely possible. That's great. Give me my kings and my jacks, please. Son of a hoo-ha. Alright. Last hand is just a 2 pair, which is unfortunate. And also I don't get this popping off, which is also unfortunate. They're all gold now. You might not win this. Dang. Unfortunate. What a flop. I don't know how to change the cards back to normal though, unfortunately, because I replaced the filter. I replaced the regular cards with these ones with the tint in the back, so I don't know how to change that because I no longer have a copy of that on my computer. Oh well. Let's go to the main menu and see what we unlocked. By winning 5 consecutive rounds by playing only one hand, we've discovered this one, which increases the hand size by 2 cards, but you lose a hand to play each round. That doesn't actually mean each round you lose a hand, it just means that when you collect the card, you lose a hand to play when you buy it. You also unlock the blackjack deck. We get 1 joker slot, so we have 6 instead of 5, and we lose a hand. So instead of having 4 hands and 3 discards, we only have 3 hands. Anything else? Nope, I believe that's it. Our collection is growing fantastically. We got reroll surplus and telescope and planet merchant unlocked. That's good, that's good. Our blinds, we've discovered the goad and the mouth. Page 1 of 1. Oh, just in case you have like modded blinds. Okay. Tags, we have gotten the buffoon tag. Boosters, which is actually kind of relevant. This is Booster's theme from Super Mario RPG. Mega Buffoon pack. I think that's about it. The Jokers. We unlocked Jolly Joker, Mime, Chaos the Clown, and anybody else? Midas Mask, Fortune Teller, Ancient Joker, Ramen. I believe that's it. Yep, that's it. Now this is slightly relevant. We got the Emperor and the Hierophant here, as well as Strength. Although I thought I did unlock those earlier. Oh well. We also have Earth, and we're still missing Venus, and also these 3 ones down here, which are special. And we will not get to those probably anytime soon. Let's try the green deck. Shall we? Hopefully we'll get farther along. 3 Mega Arcana pack. Nah. The Luigi Casino music playing does feel a little bit relevant just because Luigi Casino was how I learned how to play poker. Oh my god, we got a 4 of a kind, natural 4 of a kind. That is going to put us, that just automatically wins even without adding all the cards into it. 560 base. With the 5s. Nice. Oh right. The green deck. Give me 1 second. My dad made some entrees, or not entrees, appetizers. He's cooked some appetizers for the family because football's happening. And while his team, the Lions, have unfortunately not qualified for the Super Bowl, they got pretty far this year with, I think, 10 wins? 11? I'm not quite sure. I don't remember exactly. But what the heck is this song? We Party. Wow. Bank Bonanza. Okay, yeah, and I remember Bank Bonanza, I think, from the videos I've seen of it. But yeah, his team didn't win, but the Buffalo Bills, which are the team that the majority of my dad's side of the family cheers for, are still able to potentially make it to the quote-unquote playoffs, unless this is the playoffs. I don't know. I don't get football that well. I don't watch it. I'm not a fan. I get scared whenever my brother and dad start yelling about the Lions because they get so loud. They get so loud watching football. But they're playing tonight, the Buffalo Bills. So making some appetizers for us to enjoy. Because the Bills could potentially go to the Super Bowl. I don't know how many times the Bills have actually gone to the Super Bowl. I know the lines have never been, but I know that the bills have been at least a couple of times. I don't know how often, and especially how often I've been alive they've been there. But anyways, explain the green deck. As it says here, you get $2 per remaining hand, and $1 per remaining discard. But you don't get interest, which I found out how interest works. I didn't know how it worked for like weeks and weeks and weeks. But interest works is that if you have $5 or more by the end of a round, you get $1 per $5 you have. So if you have $6, you get $1 of interest. If you have $12, you get $2 of interest, and so on and so forth. There will be no interest in this run, however, because of that little rule. But because we have 3 hands remaining, we get $6 from that, and 2 discards, we get $2 from that. So now we need cash out with 11, which is pretty dang neat. Oh, a new pair card just dropped. The add 50 chips if played hand contains a pair. So let's get that one. Let's re-roll. Just see if we get something fun. Ooh, 80 chips if played hand contains 2 pair. And the Hangman, which destroys up to 2 selected cards. Might as well get both of these, since they're here and we have enough money. So we have the Clever Joker and the Sly Joker with us now, adding a lot of chips to our run potentially, if we play a lot of 2 pairs or, full houses. What's happening? God dang it. I didn't realize Ken was going to stream now. Aw, jeez, I didn't check their schedule. Aw, jeez, Rick. Well, now I feel like Boo Boo the Fool. I don't even know what they're playing today. Oy. Come on, give me something good. Alright, I guess we're doing the 2 pair. We'll keep on, we'll hang on to Hangman because we're so early on in the run. We only have the big blind on ante 1 out of 8, so let's keep Hangman for a little while and see if there's anything, potentially good down the road. Okay. Oh, God, help me. Oh, yawning. 380, yep. Okay, there we go. I was like, what was that up to? This is... Okay, no, this is Limbus Company. I don't know Limbus Company, gonna be honest. This is all we really have to play right now, because we're out of discards. We have a lot of clubs left. We don't have any clubs on the board, so let's get rid of these ones. Just in case we get a flush. Oh, this is a Toho. Okay, when I do this, I'm looking at what's on my playlist going on, the casino playlist I got going on. So I'm gonna get $4 out of this because we had 2 hands remaining, not 3, but that's okay. $8 is still a lot. Ooh. Okay, hang on. So this one, similar, it's I guess a brother to this one, sorta kinda. So the Clever Joker, it gives you plus 10 molt if played hand contains a 2 pair. That's pretty neat. And this one, Temperance, gives the total current sell value of all current Jokers. Which right now, if we're doing the math correctly, currently the sell value of all Jokers combined is $5. This card, however, costs $3, so I'll only get $2 back, total. So we're going to keep this one for a little while and not buy and use just yet. Meaning that we won't get to do the Jumbo Celestial or the Jumbo Buffoon pack. Actually, hang on, if I just sell this, no. Yeah, I get $2 back, so... No, wait, no, it gives me $6 total. I probably should then. Alright, let's do it. Just to make sure that we discover that Jumbo Buffoon pack. Which, unlike the Mega Buffoon pack, you only choose up to 1 Joker of 5. Let's see what we got. Okay. Alright. We have this one that we haven't discovered yet, we have this one we haven't discovered yet, and Jolly Joker. We don't particularly have any... What's the boss going on here? The boss is heart cards. Okay. The next box could potentially be spades cards, but... I'm gonna do it. Played cards with spade suit give +3 mult when scored. So that's per spade card. If you have a spades flush, then you get an added 15 to your multiplier. So this can potentially be good as long as we don't have anything that screws up our spades. So yeah, now we have the Raffle Joker, the Mad Joker, and we have Sly and Clever with us. So the Hangman, we're going to have to destroy some of our non-spade cards to help out with that. Okay. That is unfortunate. Let's get rid of these ones. Actually, I could make a straight with that. Oh, it's getting me closer to straight, too. God dang it. Queen of the 7. Give me... God bless America. Alright, should I get rid of diamonds? I guess I'll get rid of... Well, no, we don't have enough. When I get rid of cards with Hangman, I typically try to do the lower cards just to make it so that I get more chips per played hand. Let's just do this and then get rid of the 3 that way. So this will add a little bit extra to there, a little bit extra of this, and this, and this. So hopefully this should just, win. But, I don't do all the math right away, so. There we go, right away won it. That's good. This is a nice song though. Very long, but it's a nice song. $11. Alright, what do we have now? We have Reroll Surplus we could use. We could do another Buffoon pack, potentially get something. I feel that's probably better. Neptune's really, really hard to come by. What it gets is a straight flush. Straight flushes are really, really hard to get because you need a straight and a flush at the same time. Which is why, here it's already valued at 800 base number for, just getting through it. In comparison to flush and straight, which are both, a fourth and a third, I think, of that number, if I'm doing the math right. Something like that. Oh, this is Harvest Moon. I thought this was the one from Super Paper Mario. Is that actually in this playlist? It should be if it's not. Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door is here. Where is... Yeah, it's still a 1,000 Year Door. It is not in here. I should put it in here then. I'll add that later. Gotta remember that though. Game... I guess Game Corner Super Paper Mario? I don't remember what it's called. The arcade, that's what it is. It's called the arcade. But it's very, casino adjacent. Alright. Remember that for later. Anyways, let's, do a Celestial pack. What are we even doing? We've been doing a lot of 2 pairs mostly. So let's up that. Yes, thank you! And nothing that we need to unlock because the only one we're missing is Venus and the special ones that we have not talked about yet. So Uranus, increase the 2 pair, and Buffoon pack, which we have. Blue Joker is already here. I guess we'll take this one because we've already discovered it, and then we'll sell it because we aren't actually using straights. But you gain 15 chips if a played hand contains a straight. And that accumulates over time. The runner here. Which is good, but we're not using it. So let's instead get the Jolly Joker, because that will help a little bit out. Right now this is very good Joker-wise for the early game. We'll eventually have to switch a lot of these ones out. Initial cards and booster packs in the next shop are free. Don't mind if I do. And that one gives Mega Buffoon, so we're fine. My CPU's really struggling. Primarily with my PC face. Oh! Okay, full house is still technically better than 2 pair because it's 40 times 4 compared to 40 times 3. Let's do that then. And we got a couple spades in there as well, that's nice. That should just give us the win. Nintendo Switch Sports. Nice. Heck yeah, heck yeah, heck yeah, heck yeah. $13. That's lovely. Ooh, we have 2 undiscovered ones right now. Let's get rid of Sly and Jolly so we can actually get these. Unfortunately, that will decrease our good value going into stuff, but that's okay. So this card adds double the rank of the lowest ranked card held in hand to Molt. So when you're holding your cards in your hand, you'll have a lot of low cards, so most likely, and depending on what's actually in your hand, it can add to the Molt 4 for 2. If you have like a 2 card in your hand, it can add 6 for the 3 card, 8 for the 4 card, so on and so forth. The raised fist, which is pretty neat. And this one I haven't actually used because most of the time I'm adding cards instead of taking them away, but it gains +4 Molt for each card below 52 in your full deck. We still have the Hangman here, so we can potentially do that. This one is called Erosion, which is sort of similar to how erosion actually works. Water dealing damage, I guess, over time to rocks and gradually making them go away. Get ourselves a Celestial pack. Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn. Let's do Pluto. Just in case we need that high card. Don't do that. Why did my face do that? Stop doing that. And then the standard pack. What's this one? Is this a Toho again? No, this is a different Limbus Company one. Okay, we have Lucky Card Jack. We have Gold, 6 of Hearts. Let's do the Lucky Card, which, as I mentioned before last stream, when we picked it up, it's a 1 in 5 chance for it to add 20 to the multiplier, and a 1 in 15 chance to win $20 in cash and prizes. That's potentially good. Let's also do the reroll surplus since we have the money. And reroll! See what we get. Jewel Joker and Magician, which enhances 2 selected cards to lucky cards. Let's get a lot of lucky cards, why not? Now, unfortunately, our boss is the wheel. 1 in 7 cards that get drawn face down. Have I discovered the wheel before? I have. This is also Mario Party 4? This is Mario Party 6. I may be dumb. Okay, so the way that you try to figure out how these cards are is that based on the rank or suit. Let's do suit first. So that is a clubs card. And this card is either clubs or diamonds. So neither of them are spades, which is unfortunate. But if we do this, then we can actually see what the cards are. I keep dragging it, but from what I can guess already, it's either an ace, a king, or a queen. Though if it's clubs card, then yeah, no, it's a king or an ace. If it's an ace, that's good. But with this particular card, it's a little bit trickier because we have the jack and the 7 here, so that's a lot of different cards that could be that's either clubs or diamonds. So to expedite the process, we're gonna do this and watch what happens. It's an ace and a 10. So that's very helpful. When it flips over, you can see the cards for a little moment and see what you actually have. So let's see if we get another 10, perhaps. Ooh, we did. Wonderful. And let me actually get rid of these 2 cards, just so Raised Fist can also pop off a little bit. Ooh. Alright, and now we have a +4 because we are currently at 51 cards in our deck. So that's a bit helpful. We'll have a +20 because of this, because of the Raised Fist. And this will already, like, put us way over what we need it to be. Lucky cards love to just not actually, activate. Nice. Alright. Oh, how has it already been an hour? Maybe it's because the cards are so slow. You know what? We'll change the speed of the cards. Overstock is here! But we do have to get Venus first. Because it's already here, we have to get Venus. Ugh. I feel like whenever I talk, it's just nobody can understand me because of my lisp. That's probably not true, though. But now, we have 3 cards here. Ah, dang it. The egg's here. And Uranus. Erosion's not that great in my opinion. Getting the egg will help us later down the road, because what the egg does is that it gains $3 in sell value at the end of the round. So you can really get a lot of money out of this one. As it stands, we're probably going to get more cards than we are going to dispose of cards, so erosion isn't particularly very helpful most of the time. So while I could get Uranus to help, we're gonna get the egg instead, because that's undiscovered. Egg. Stop turning people into eggs. What's our blind? Discards 2 random cards per played hand. Alright, have a free uncommon joker potentially. Let's just go through and see what we do. $6? No, that's okay. We can just play the small blind, that's fine. This sounds like Psychonauts music. It is Cuphead. Oh, is Psychonauts 2 music in here? Because that also has a casino level. I don't think it is. God, that's a lot of stuff that I gotta add in there. Gotta remember to do that. Yeah, no, I might not remember to do that all. Oh well. Let's get rid of... We actually have a bit of a straight here, but the straight isn't going to do as much. Yeah, it's not going to be as helpful. So it's 30 times 4. No, it would be the exact same amount. 40 times 3 is 120. 30 times 4 is also 120. So a straight could also work. And then let's get rid of the queen. Potentially get a 10 or a 5. You're not giving me either. Game. Game. Alright, we'll do this then. That's fine. We still got a discard. Potentially get $2 out of that. I was going to increase the speed. Value up. So now the egg will in fact sell for $5 instead of $3. Or no, instead of $2 originally. So that's pretty dang neat. And that will just keep increasing in size. First of all, let's make the speed a little bit faster. Game speed of 2 instead. We got an Arcana pack that we haven't discovered yet, so let's do that. I could have put strength in there, but that's okay. We have the moon, the star, and the hangman is back, but neither of these works out with Raffle Joker, which is unfortunate, but let's see, diamonds or clubs? Let's go diamonds, I guess, because there's already diamond jacks there, I don't know. The star has been unlocked. This is another Mario Party song from 3 specifically. Here's Waluigi. This Joker gains +3 molt when any booster pack is skipped. Alright, I guess we will sell the egg now, because I like having these two in particular. We will keep this for now, the red card. Though, we can't exactly buy anything else for that yet. We could increase Saturn. We're not going to. We're not going to do that right now. Free uncommon Joker. Screw it. We gotta take big risks if we want to win. Oh, we already have a straight. Huh. Alright, increase these. Potentially. So no matter what, I'm going to get at least 10 added on. It's going to get rid of one of the 5s, but we still have a 6 here, so that's good. Oh, hello, Mario Party 5. Okay, that wasn't great. Those ones didn't pop off, so that's not fantastic. Let's get rid of these two. We could potentially get another straight. And we did! Is that not a straight? I'm missing the jack. Get rid of the 6 card then. Okay. So no straight. And no spades added, but we do still have our 2 pair. Still got aces and kings in there. Took away the queen. Oh, there it is. There we go. Yeah, doing the straight is actually a little bit detrimental, only because we have 2 jokers here that work more so with the 2 pair than anything else. Oop. Okay. Well, this one doesn't actually work because we don't have interest with this deck, but typically, with To the Moon, you earn an extra $1 of interest for every $5 you have at the end of the round. So instead of getting $1 for having $6, you get 2, and so on and so forth. Like you get 3 instead of 2, and 4 instead of 3. But this isn't a particularly helpful card, so we're going to sell it and instead get something else. What's our enhanced stuff looking like? We only really have a couple lucky cards out here. A few lucky cards that could potentially work. We could also potentially do this one. Let's get this one. This Joker gains plus 0.1 mult. For scoring enhanced card played, but it also removes the enhancement because this, in fact, is a vampire. So we will lose our enhancement, but that's okay. I haven't discovered this voucher yet. I don't want to discover this voucher yet, but I probably should. Let's do it. -1 ante. So the ante will go down to 3 instead of us being on 4, and we will lose a hand. We'll lose a card in our hand size, so instead of having 8 cards to choose from, we have 7. This one's kind of a weird one. Hieroglyph. Oh no, it's the number of hands played. My bad, not the size. So 3 instead of 4. So we are in fact back down to ante number 3. So we're playing the same, we're trying to reach the same goals as last time. Free reroll? Add a voucher? Let's just play the boss again, why not? Alright. Our clubs are debuffed. So get those out of here. Get these out of here. Potentially... Oh, yes. No, I'm not going to get the enhancement there, but that's okay. Hopefully this will still be just enough. Although that one did get debuffed. Dang. Yeah, that got debuffed. Unfortunate. Let's get rid of these 2. Okay. If we get rid of the 4, if we get rid of the 4 here, then we can get 18 back on that instead. Nice. Nice. I just picked up a different bottle than the one I've been drinking out. That's good. I have enough for that right now. Playing cards can be purchased from the shop, but we do have this guy so we can get rid of Vampire and then purchase that instead. The Baron. Each king that you have in your hand gives 1.5 times mult, so don't play kings. Let's re-roll. Temperance! Buy and use. Oh, 100 chips if a played hand contains a straight. Alright, let's get rid of Raffle Joker then. God, I just absolutely adore the Mario Party DS soundtrack, despite the fact that it's, you know, not great. Because of the, whatchamacallit, the big crush that happens with DS music. But this one is an interesting voucher. I'm not huge on it. Now people are. It kind of decreases the amount of stuff that you can buy from the shop, in that you can purchase playing cards in the shop in this particular area over here, instead of just in the standard packs. But it could be good. Sometimes they are enhanced cards, sometimes they aren't. But magic trick redeemed. Let's get back into it. Double our money. We have $0. That won't work. So let's play. Oh, we have 2 lucky cards already. Wonderful. Oops, forgot to take the 2 out. That's okay, we still got it. Nice, $10. Vampire's back already. Although if I'm playing towards straights now, I might need to up that a bit. Anything else? Oh, this Arcana pack has not been discovered. Wheel of Fortune! We've actually found it! We didn't discover it last time. Apparently didn't come across it. But, fun thing about Wheel of Fortune is that it has a 1 in 4 chance to add a holo, to add the qualities of holo, a holographic, foil, or polychrome to any Joker. This can potentially be good. Because it's a 1 in 4 chance, it usually doesn't work. Nope. So that's a fun thing that you can do sometimes. Let's buy and use the Saturn, I guess. Should I grab the levers? What is our boss? We start with 0 discards. That is neither here nor there. This could be good though. Next base addition shop Joker at Supreme becomes negative. Have we actually unlocked that yet? That particular tag? We have not. We got the D6 tag, the voucher tag, and the uncommon tag. And I don't think we actually came across negative Jokers last time either. Let's keep our money for now. And skip this blind, which is probably a mistake. But negative Jokers, don't add or lose any of the Joker slots. So you can add as many negative Jokers as you want and not lose anything, lose or gain anything out of it. Is that not? I'm missing the 10. And I can't discard. Shoot. Okay. Let's play this, just in case I get the 10. I'm still missing the 10! Why? This sucks. I can get rid of the Jack, but then I don't have the potential for 2. Ooh, if I get rid of the 9 and the 8, that's probably... Well, if I get rid of the 8 and the 7, that's probably fine. I no longer have the spade card. You dingus. There's my 10. There we go. Okay. Nice. We got spelunky music going. Oh, we ran out of hands. That's unfortunate. This Joker will not be relevant, actually. And I can just sell it for money. But typically, this one, Riff Raff, when a blind is selected, it creates 2 common Jokers. As you can see, it itself is common. This one is rare. This one's common, 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 common. But it would be helpful if I actually had Joker slots, but I'm all full up. So instead, we will skip out on the blank for now and go for the Jumbo Celestial pack. Please give me Uranus. God dang it, why? Oh, this sucks. Okay, I guess we'll level up the pair. I don't really have anything else going for me right now. Let's do the Arcana pack, I guess. I don't have room. I can convert 3 selected cards into spades. Too bad I lost the spades thing. We'll do it anyways. There's potential for that. For a straight flush with that going on. Free uncommon joker creates up to 2 common jokers. Neither of those are helpful. Okay. Alright. How much is the straight right now? Oh, good, it's 420. Okay. Let's get rid of that 3 so we can get a little extra on that. A little extra sauce on that one. Okay. That's not terrible. Not impressive. And we can't get rid of the 5, so that's just gonna be a plus 10. Come on. God dang it. It never hits. This is why I shouldn't go gambling ever. Ooh. But I do have... No, well, I keep forgetting I don't have the space card anymore. This is fine then. Get rid of the 4 so I can get plus 10. I'm out of hands though. Having only 3 hands is really, really risky. Eee. I probably shouldn't have done that hieroglyph, but I'm following my own rules, so... Black card does nothing. Uncommon jokers give 1.5 times mult. We don't even have an uncommon joker, so that's not very helpful. But we have to buy it anyways! Alright, we'll sell this. Buy this. Then sell it. Now, the Baron was doing a whole lot anyways, but that's okay. Kind of wish I could redeem blank voucher, but I kind of can't. Reroll? Okay. If Poker Hand is a straight flush, create a random spectral card. That one's really hard to pull off. I have not done it before. And this one is, this Joker gains 0.25 mult for each card sold. Resets when boss blind is defeated. I can't buy that. I can buy this though. Great! Well, this is here now. Can I sell it for... Nope, I can't even sell it for a good amount. Good gracious me. This is gonna suck. We gotta be mindful of our hands. We are 1 away from a straight with a 7. So let's get rid of the 4 and the ace. Yeah, man, just not give me anything. That's so cool, dude. Oh, we're probably losing. Uh-oh. Get rid of one of the 8s as well. Yeah, that's cool. That's great. Oh, that's great, dude. And, that's the game. Well, we tried. We did unlock something. Sell a total of 20 Joker cards. We have unlocked this one, which adds the sell value of all other owned Jokers to the multiplier. It can be incredibly helpful if you have a lot of high value Jokers. As I found out while asking about Blue Sky, if you have an Eternal Egg, that really helps out with this particular card. The egg, if you forgot, increases in sell value per round. So you're supposed to sell it, but if it's eternal, then you can't sell it, which is a factor that we have not unlocked yet. But that's okay. Oh, what was it, Dice? I think it was a gif of Arthur dancing around to this one that I saw. I don't remember. Booster packs. Jumbo. Alright, and the tags. Blinds. We've seen the water and the club. I didn't actually explain the water. Whoops, I thought I'd already seen it before, but I hadn't. Yeah, the water gives you 0 discards to use, which is unfortunate because I discard very liberally. And that won't help a lot with various things. Oh, hang on. Erosion. And baseball card. I believe that's it. Alright. So we played yellow, we played green. Let's head on over to the black deck now. We lose a hand, unfortunately, but, so we're starting off with 3 hands again, but that's okay. Alright, this will be really funny if I do 2 juggle tags, which adds +3 hand size to the next round. Then we do another one, and it adds +3 hand size to the next round. So we are going to walk into the all spades cards debuffed with 14 cards in our hand. So let me check again. I always forget if flush is better than straight. Flush is better than straight. Full house is better than flush. 4 of a kind is better than all of them. We do not have a 4 of a kind. We do not even have a like a full house. How do I have them? We literally drew like a third of our deck. How did that happen? Let's get rid of some of these diamond cards, huh? See if we get something good out of this. Okay, okay. Now this is debuffed, but that's okay. It's still a full house. I probably should have actually gone for the straight flush, but that's okay. It'll be fine. Oy, oy. My neck is doing things. It's hurting. And it should be enough to give us the win. Sorry, I had my cursor there. Oy, I am stretching. We really gotta up that hand count, though. Okay. Not what I was hoping for, but okay. Okay. My mom was letting me know about my work situation, which I didn't actually explain what my work situation is currently. At the moment, I now work in the same building as my mom does. I work at I've been working at, what the heck is this song? Oh, it's Sonic Adventure again. I currently work at, right now I work at a little cafe salad bar type of place. In the same building as my mom. Previously, in the previous semester of schooling, I worked at a ice cream place that also doubles a little bit as a like a cafe lunch area. I am not working there at the moment because I was only hired for scooping ice cream, and it's the dead of winter, so I have been transferred because I work at a university where there are multiple different dining areas. I've just been transferred to a different dining area. And I work 4 hours a day, the entire week, so Monday through Friday, meaning that it's really hard for me to stream because I no longer have days off in the middle of the week. And instead, only have days off on the weekend, which kind of sucks, but you know, money is in fact money. And it's also a little bit overwhelming at times because it is a sort of like a salad bar. Like when you go to, Starbucks and not Starbucks, excuse me, Subway, and you order food there, you have like a little thing, a little row line of how it's all is ordered out. It's kind of like that, and that can get a little bit overwhelming for me as someone who is not very good in a high pressure, high speed environment. So I've been getting a little overwhelmed, but hopefully it'll get better as time goes on. It's kind of like when I have bad days at the ice cream shop, because there's sometimes a lot of tourists that come in for the ice cream, and I'll get very busy on very big occasions and such. Anywho's, with the game here, sorry, I've been kind of stopped here. This particular voucher will make it so that holographic foil and polychrome cards appear 2 times more often in the shop. This primarily works on jokers, but can also work on regular cards as well, if you have that voucher redeemed, I believe. I haven't actually done that before, but the Hone has been redeemed. So now we just have to wait. Initial pack cards and booster packs in the next shop are free. Don't mind if I do. Oh, that's bad. Okay, it's good thing I made those free then. I'm gonna try to get a full house. This is probably a mistake, but we're gonna try it anyways. I was right, this was a mistake. Why do you do this to me, game? Alright, how many... We have primarily spades left. Let's get rid of a heart then. Well, if I do that, then it hovers over and I don't... We have only 1 8 left, which is not great. We'll get rid of the 6 then. Get rid of a diamond in our hand. We're not winning this. It's not happening. Oops, wrong one. Get rid of the other diamond. We're not gonna get enough to win. Excuse you. Oh, this stupid Honkai Star Rail music. Ugh. Alright, back to the main menu. I don't think we unlocked anything new, did we? No, we did! Lose 5 runs. We unlocked this guy, who prevents death if chips scored are at least 25% of the required chips. It also self-destructs once it does that, so it saves you. It dies instead of you if you end up losing too much. We still haven't won yet, which is unfortunate. So we have played every deck that we can at the moment. So instead, let's go back to the red deck and see if that helps. Per line skipped, and then if we double our money, then we get $18 to start off with. And then the money from here we can get some. Let's try to go for that full house again, shall we? Well, I'm holding out for a flush potentially as well. Yeah, okay. Which one's better, full house or flush? Flush is not as good. Get rid of that 10. Okay. We will do this then. Oh right, it's the hook. Discards 2 random cards per hand played. Wonderful. Okay. My god. Okay, well, no, we don't have... God dang it. Alright, I guess we're going 3 of a kind. Not great, but it's what we have. We do have ourselves this, though, a straight. It's not a straight flush, but it's a straight, which will be enough to give us the win. Alright. $3 interest, that's nice. Oh! New card. This one gives similarly to the spades card. This one gives us +3 to every clubs card that has been scored, which is nice. The gluttonous Joker. If you couldn't already tell, they're all based on the 7 deadly sins. It's a little bit easier to tell once we find the hearts one and the diamonds one, but that's okay. Increase high card. For just in case purposes. And increase pairs for just in case purposes. Let's do telescope as well. We're spending all our money right now. And the buffoon pack, see what we get. Okay, we haven't actually discovered this one yet, apparently. That's the campfire. As I mentioned when it came up before, it gains +2 5 mults for each card sold, and resets when the boss blind is defeated, so. Initial cards and booster pack and next stop are free. Don't mind if I do. The needle's here now, though. You play only one hand, which I don't think we've actually come across yet either. Let's check. We have not. Let's just do the big blind. Okay, we are 1 away from a straight, which is nice. Okay, we got a flush instead, which nullifies that because it's not clubs, but that's okay. We'll survive. What is this song? Oh, it's Fortune Street. Okay. Hey, boy. We do have another, we have a straight going on here. Let's add that particular 6 because it's the clubs. Nice. Get a little bit extra oomph in there. Another straight, huh? Well, the straights have it. The entire world, I mean. Another +3 there. Okay, one more hand, I'll do it. Which is a good thing we only have one more hand available to us. Barely used any of my discards, though. Don't think I used a single one, actually. That's fine. We still got $4 out of that. Ooh, baby. We got Baron back, and we have this one. ×3 mults if all cards held in hand are spades or clubs. It's called Blackboard, because when I don't have the high contrast on, let's turn that off for a second. What? Where do I turn? Hang on. Hello? Oh, customized deck. When I don't have the high contrast on, spades and clubs are very similar black colors, so that's why it's called Blackboard. When I do have it on, though, it's not the case, but we haven't gotten this one yet, though. Choose up to 2 of 5 playing cards to add to your deck. The Mega Standard Pack. Yeah, we're playing towards clubs. Now this one is in fact a gold card, so that's not great, but we'll take it because it is a clubs. And the Jumbo Standard. This one's a mult card. That'd be pretty good. But this one has a purple seal, which creates a tarot card when it's discarded. It's also a glass card? It's glass, apparently. Which gives you a... which multiplies mult by 2. Alright. Interesting. Play only one hand. That's gonna be hard. Oh, that's gonna be hard. Okay, if I do this right away, I think this might give us the win. Because we only have spades here. So that gives us the ×3 multiplier. Nope, not quite enough. Dang! That sucks. Oh well. I should probably figure out how to change these back, because, unless I potentially use a different one, maybe. I might use a different one. Different flavor of card. let's go back to yellow deck. Just play that one. We'll see what the voucher is when we get to it. Oh, we are one away from a straight. Nice. Probably should have left the diamond in there just in case. That computer's struggling. Oh, it's really having a hard time. And we just got ourselves another a straight. Nice. If I had had that particular straight at the start, then I would have been able to win, but oh well. Ooh. This one's a weird one, and it requires me to have a lot of money. It's the bull. It gives you +2 chips for every dollar that you have. So, you have $15, you have 30 chips at your disposal. But since I'm going to have to discover the Jumbo Arcana pack is going to decrease in value already. So we have 18 instead. Oh! Wheel of Fortune! Nope. So in a way, it's kinda not a great one. But if you have a lot of money, it's good. I'm gonna try a buffoon pack, see what else I get. Ooh, supernova, but foil, and that one's more reliable. Haha, reliable. Alright, see you later, friend. If I reroll, I could get another one, but... well, we got the Magician, so that might help. For your Arcana pack? Why not? What is my most played hand right now? Straight. Uh-oh. Well, that's unfortunate. Oh, this is actually very helpful. Judgment is here, which gives you a random Joker card, if you have room for it. Oh, and now we have the credit card, so we can get going to $20 in debt. And that'll be fun. Let's see. Let's make these 2 lucky cards. So, while I could use Temperance to give me $4, I am currently able to go to $20 in debt, so instead we're going to create 2 random tarot cards. We have gotten the Fool and the Tower. I don't really use... this one creates stone cards. I don't really use stone cards that much, gonna be honest. Let's use this to create another Emperor as a backup. Let's get these out of the way, because I could potentially get a straight. Alright, well... I'm gonna do this, I guess. That's fine. We have lost a 5. Okay, Temperance is back. Oh, and we have Death, which, you take 2 cards, and you can transform 1 card into the other. So we're going to transform this club's right here, into this club so that it's no longer debuffed. And then Temperance, give us $4. I'm getting Deja Vu. And if I said this last stream, uh-oh. Alright, just enough to give us a win. Nice. $8. Overstock is here. Anything new? No, nothing new. So Overstock is here. Now let's look at our Buffoon pack, because we can in fact go into the negatives now. Negative. Oh, negative card. Oh, that's actually really good with this. It creates a tarot card if a hand is played with $4 or less. Because we can go into the negatives, that's really helpful. We're gonna stay in negatives for a while. Mr. Vagabond is here. Oh, and we have the, this one, which sells a card to disable the current boss blind. Can also be helpful, the Luchador. This only works while you are in the boss blind. It doesn't work when you're not in it. So the house, well, that doesn't actually help, because I think that just plays no matter what. Do I want to reroll or do I want to go? I'm missing a 5, so if I reroll, I can't do the jumbo pack. I'll do the jumbo pack instead. I know I can re-roll it, but I can't do anything after that. Okay. Oh, this isn't here. Why didn't I see it? I didn't see it earlier. Why did I not see it before? Strange. But the Psychonauts 2 one is still not in here, so I'll put that in there at some point. At least I don't think it is. I always can't tell, like, which songs are in the playlist because there's so many in the playlist. Let's get this one, though. Queen of Hearts, it's got foil on it, and it's got a red seal, which means it can re-trigger itself. So that's neat. Oh, reroll that boss bind, please. Uh-oh, it's the wall. That's the wall, brother. We've done exactly one full house. Let's try getting another full house. Oh, that's nice. Now that's a done deal. Play that again. Give us another extra 60. There we go. The tower. Not particularly helpful. Once again, I'm not really using stone cards. I don't really use them very much, so I'm gonna, oops, sell that. Strength, magician. Girls and girls and girls and girls. Lots and lots of girls. Girls and girls and girls and girls. Lots and lots and lots and lots of girls. Hallucination isn't super helpful here. Hanged Man could be potentially useful. Strength? Yeah, strength will be good. Let's get Hanged Man then, and then do a jumbo pack, I guess? That's probably good. Whoa, okay, the seal's not great, but this particular 8 is a polychrome card. So we'll get, we'll multiply 1.5 times the mulch on that. Kinda wish I could change the seal on that, but, that's not something I can do right now. Extra large blind. Girls and girls and girls and girls and girls. Girls and girls and girls and girls. Girls and girls and girls. We are one away from another straight. Let's discard these two in that case. Yes. Yes, good. Yes, good. And let's increase the ranks here. And that'll be a bit fun, having another ace around, just in case. And because we've done straight twice, it'll add a 3 to that, actually. Although I can, in fact, just sell this card to disable the boss blind. That'll be helpful. Yeah. Now it's normal. And instead of 3,200, it's 1,600. I don't think this will do it right away, but... we're off to a good start. Ah, jeez. If I had another hearts card, that would be helpful, but I don't. Okay. I don't think we have any other kings, though. God bless America. Okay, no, we're good. We're good. Shoot, this wild card? Hang on, I have to check. This is collection. Editions. Foil. Booster packs. Not that one. Seals. Enhanced cards. Okay, you can't have a lucky and a wild at the same time. That's how enhancements work. So, we will instead put it on this king here. Actually, put it on the ace. That'll be nice. You can't actually see it because of my filter, but this ace is now a wild card, which means I can play it and do a flush, which won't actually give us a whole lot, but because we haven't played the flush before. That's okay. Ooh, we have glass card potential. You know what? Put it on this wacky jack here. Yeah. Put that jack after that one, because this can potentially be add plus 20, and then glass cards multiply the multiplier by 2. So that could be good. But we got ourselves a full house, and this should be enough to win us the game. We got another glass card. We got another justice here. Fun. Alright, what do we got? Earn $4 at the end of the round. Well, we have to take it regardless, unfortunately. But we can sell it immediately. We still can't get the voucher, though, but that's, you know, that's just how it is. They're parking. Each face card held in hand gives money, which we don't actually need right now. Jumbo pack. Oh. This Joker gains 0.1 molt every time a planet card is used. I tend to use planet cards a lot. This is an incredibly helpful Joker down the line. It is Constellation. And you're gonna get to know Constellation pretty well. Could get another standard pack, potentially. I think we're good right now. Though I should... Oh! Glass that king. Nice. Alright. And now we have ourselves another straight. Straight people, am I right? The jokes just keep coming. Oh, that was 2 glass cards. Yo! Aw, dang it. Alright, we're down to 2 kings. That's not good. We are down to 2 kings. No, wait, 3 kings. My bad. We're down to 3 kings. We lost a king because it broke. And we converted a king because it was, important. Oh, we kinda gotta get this one. Scary face. Played face cards give 30 chips when scored. But also, we have to use this one because this will up our constellation. Ain't that fun? Now, unfortunately, we don't have anything else that we can buy at the moment because we are, in fact, negative 20 in debt. I think we've... Oh no, we have not hit every song yet, somehow. Somehow we have not. Ooh, that queen's there. We're gonna have to get rid of that 7. We can simply just def it. We can deafen it. Not what I wanted. Yes. I moved it again, I swear to God. At this point I might just have to get rid of Hangman because it's just kind of sitting there in my inventory. And I only have 2 slots to have the consumable cards. Hermit? That was my money? How does this work with negatives? It did nothing. That's cool. Anyways. Okay. Okay, that's good. Okay, wait, hang on. Okay, no. And then this one. And then my lucky card. And then these are normal. Alright. We got 90 per thing out of that. Strength is here. We can increase one of our queens to a, to something. Ooh. Helpful in a way. Scary face? Yeah, that's fine for right now. We can eventually get rid of Supernova, I think. So this one adds $1 of sell value to every Joker and consumable card at the end of the round. Since I haven't been using the Hangman, that could potentially be useful. Now this one, however, you earn money through each discarded 4, but the rank changes every round. So it's just 4 for right now, but it can change later. Granted, if I increase the sell value, Vagabond will become useless if I don't keep credit card in. So let's do this. Let's get the gift card for now. Actually, I can't do a Celestial pack if I have the gift card. That's so cool. Alright, never mind then. We'll do the Celestial pack instead. What's helpful? What's helpful? 2 pair. What's our run looking like? Better than a full house? Yeah. We are at 240 base with that. So that's better than a full house. Get ready for a lot, and I mean a lot, of 2 pairs. I was going to get rid of the stone, but since we're going to do 2 pairs now, I guess the stone card is actually helpful. Oh, we're playing the hook. God damn it. I am starting to get a little bit lightheaded, I think, but I think that's because my sugar's a bit low. You know what? Why not? Hey, that ain't good though. 8s. Let me look at the... We only have 1 9 left. We have a bunch of 8s. We do have a bunch of 8s. 6s we have 3. 5s we have 1 left. 10s we have 3 left. Alright. We'll get rid of the 9 for sure. Okay. Should I increase that 6 into a 7 though? Actually, I need kings more than anything. Dang, I don't know. I'll keep it normal for right now. Stop getting rid of my goddamn cards. Chariot. Ooh, that could be helpful. Alright, turns 1 card into a steel card, which adds a 1, which multiplies the multiplier by 1.5. Put that on the 3. Yes. Yes, good. Yes, good. Oh, thank God. I forgot about the getting rid of 2 random cards. It didn't get rid of my 3. That's amazing. How did it do that? Hermit's back. Hermit isn't very helpful because I'm in the negatives. And instead we're going to sell it. Ooh, the Mega Spectral Pack. We haven't gotten that one yet. We also haven't gotten this one yet, which increases our hand size by 1. Or this. It creates a tarot card if a poker hand contains an ace and a straight. Let's do the Spectral Pack first because these are some funny cards. Alright, so we have Ouija. Converts all cards in the hand to a single random rank, but it decreases our hand size, which is bad. Ectoplasm. It adds a negative to a random joker, but also decreases our hand size by 1. The Medium, which gives us a purple seal, which purple sealed cards create a tarot card when discarded, and Trance, which if we add a blue seal, then it creates a planet card for the final played poker hand of a round if that card is held in the hand. So, first of all, I do need to get this up. I'm gonna get that up as well. I need another king. I'm missing king, so I need a king. Secondly, I could just undo all the work I just did, but where are we at? Been doing a lot of straights, trying to get the 3 pairs up. The 2 pairs rather up. You can't do a 3 pair, I'm dumb. So I think we'll do the ones that don't decrease your hand size. So we're going to... Let's see here. Let's give that the purple seal. And let's give this one the blue seal. This is, Hat in Time music. I know this because it's the same melody. Is it time to sell Vagabond? Just to get this one? Maybe. Considering how many times I've played a straight with an ace. Probably. Alright, Vagabond. It's been nice knowing you. We have superposition now. I don't remember what a superposition actually is. Foil Joker. No. No, we're gonna keep on keeping on. Oh wow, that's quite the setup we got going on here. Let's get rid of these ones. This one will give me my judgment. What do we get? Okay, that's actually actually pretty good, because we've actually been using a lot of Arcanas just due to the fact that we had Vagabond for a while. So this will give us plus 20 to our molt. That's neat. However, we still have the unfortunate case of needing a card for our, there it is, our straight. This will not activate through revision, unfortunately, but that's okay. We'll be fine. Actually, this one, because that includes the lucky card, which could potentially also help with the polychrome. God bless America, it never hits. Okay, that's good. 90 away. Wow. And get that full house going, and then we're golden. We're all crisp and golden, dude. Oh, I'm tired. I'm fine. I'm tired, though. That happens. Alright, we have already unlocked all these. We have not discovered this yet. We probably should. Sewer position kind of sucks, but it doesn't give us enough money back. Neither does credit card, of course. But if we sell credit card, then we no longer in debt. Well, if we sell a credit card, we're still in debt and we can't buy anything, so, we gotta go for the Celestial Pack instead, so we're not gonna increase our hand size, unfortunately. Three of a kind? I don't really have anything I can do. Is this casino music? That's a good question. I wouldn't say it is, but that's just me. This would probably be good, though. The wheel is gonna be what does it in for me, though. Oh! Wild. How did that happen? Alright, so, ooh. So, three of a kind, two pair, flush. Doing the straight will give me an 8 this time. But having a two pair is also pretty good. We're gonna get rid of these ones in particular. We're gonna get rid of these ones because, okay, we are missing a 5. This is not a 5, obviously. But let's check what it could be. Okay, it is a diamond card, so we could do a flush instead. Could do a flush instead. I kind of want to do a straight because that's going to give me a lot of stuff. Get rid of these cards. That's not giving me a straight. What suit is that? That is a diamond. Okay. It's probably the diamond 7 then? And I just got rid of the 8. That sucks. Okay, and the 4 maybe? The king, the queen there, potentially. I don't really need the queen though. Okay. That's a diamond, right? No, that's a clubs card. That is... Well, that does give me... Even if it is in fact a 6 instead of a 7, that's still a 2 pair, so that's good. Welcome to Casino Park! Okay, okay. We're fine then. That's either a king or a ace. I don't know which. We're gonna do this instead, because that's probably safer. I forgot this is a steel card because I can't see it. I really gotta take this particular, quote-unquote mod off. Because it's not helping me. Whoa! Okay, I guess we're getting the Jolly Joker! No, wait, no. Hang on. I know what to do. Buy. Sell. Buy. When blind selected, gain 3 hands and lose all discards. Sell. Buy. Do not sell. I could gain another discard, but I don't really want that right now. It's fine if we don't have one. Let's do the Mega Arcana pack though, because then they'll up our fortune teller. Up. That is not helpful. What are we looking at for cards we're missing? We have missing a queen and a jack. We're missing a 7 and a 5, and we're missing a lot of 2s. Just an absolute amazing amount of 2s. We can. I don't want to get rid of the jack. We don't have a 5 right now, so let's increase that one. And no, wait, if I do this, then it's like a net positive, pretty much. Oh wait, no. If I increase the 8, though, let's do this. And if we end up getting another strength, then I can do that again, potentially. Destroys 2 cards. If this 2 comes up, we can just have another steel card at the ready. That'd be nice. It's not very likely to come up, but it could. These are all relatively normal. We are in need of none of these necessarily. Let's grab another ace then. I could reroll, we're not going to. Spectral pack. Thank you kindly. Destroy 1 random card in your hand, add 3 random enhanced face cards. Destroys 5 random cards in hand, but you gain $20. Let's hope that it doesn't kill the 8. It's going to kill the 8 because that's how this game likes to mess with me. Oh my god, that was amazing. Ugh. 3 Mega Celestial pack. Increase the abilities of Constellation here, that'll be helpful. Let's actually level up straight for once. Make it even more powerful. And then I guess it's two pair? Why not? What is this? This is another Honkai Star Rail song. Ugh. All face cards are drawn face down. Unfortunate. We don't know what that face card is. So let's try to go for the low straight. A lower straight. We are in fact missing an 8. We're just missing an 8, and that can give us the win potentially. We don't need 2 6s. Game. Game, I am in fact going to lose my mind if you don't give me the 8 right now. Game, we have so many 8s. Why are you doing this to me? I literally have 6 8s. Why are you doing this to me? I have 4 8s. I'm dumb. I increased one of the 8s. And I lost an 8. And this is why we increase the pair. In case something like this happens. Not a great start off, but oh, there it is. Nice, 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 nice. Did this play earlier? I think it did. Ooh, okay. Okay, well that's a face card. But we did increase our 3 of a kind, and we do have this guy here, so that'll help as well. Granted, that'll only give us a 1 with the supernova, but that's okay. Come on. Come on. Yeah, I figured it was enough. We'll keep going until I potentially end up crashing and burning. Let's see if we actually can, in fact, get to, Ooh, we can increase our hand size! Yay! Let's see if we can actually get to, whatchamacallit, the final boss. That'd be fun. We can see if we can get anything to replace Supernova. Supernova's been pretty good to us so far. Nope, we've gotten both of these before, and we don't need either of them. So, off we go. I should have got that star. That's okay, we'll be fine. Playing straight sets money to 0. That is actually helpful because I have the credit card. Oh, you fool. You poor fool. You never knew what was coming. You never knew what would hit you until it was staring you right in the face. Why do the lucky cards like never play, dude? I hate this. And we increase that straight. Yes, please. This is going very well, which is very concerning. Uh-oh! 30 chips per remaining discard. We do have Wheel of Fortune. Nope. But we did get a little bit extra from that. So... Alright, say goodbye to Supernova. You've been really helpful. But we're gonna grab you for now. Standard pack? Shoot, might as well. What is this song? Oh, right, it's Puyo. I didn't put this in, but it's here. Glass card and a blue seal. Weird and wacky and wild. We'll grab it, I guess. Might as well. Because it's the glass card. Next one. Dang, you're one away. That sucks. Discard these. Magician. Helpful. If I did not have... Oh no, okay, we have enough. Let's give these two lucky as well. Yes. Yes, good. Yes, good. 4 different lucky cards. One of them has to pop off. Thank you! Thank you! Thank you! There it is! Nice. We could actually make it to Anti-8. It's possible. Buy and use that. Oh, dang, we can't get the jumbo. That sucks. Okay. Okay, get rid of banner. And buy that instead, because we have to. Delayed gratification isn't very good, I'm going to be honest. And then, I guess we buy the world to increase fortune teller. I don't really have any plans here. Anywho, we're just gonna win. Let's get rid of these ones, just in case we need a pair. Oh, that's unfortunate. Game, you sure aren't just giving me what I need. Can I please get myself a queen? Could I please just get myself a queen? Alright, we're just gonna make a bunch of random ones. Spades, just to up that. Okay. I guess this doesn't discard, so like, it's whatever. It's technically a flush, god dang it. Cool. That still counts though, towards that. Hey, I still don't have a queen. I still don't have a queen. This is where it ends. Jesus Christ, why did that take you so long? Oh, yeah. Yeah, don't pop off, that's cool. Oh, we're not winning this one, Chief. Oh, we're this is door now. Get that stone card in there. Will it be our salvation? Probably not. Oh my god. Please. Oh, we're still in it. Oh my god, we're still in it. Oh my god, we're still in it. We had 2 planet cards, so we got 2 of the 2 pairs here. Backup hand. Backup hand has been unlocked. Constellation is at ×2. Multiplier. That's good. +1 hand size. Pretty good. That's pretty good. Hey, that's pretty good. Add a hand size to for our troubles. Buy this one. I don't need to redeem that. We have not discovered this particular Arcana pack. Lovers. Do I need to use lovers? That's a lot of 10s. can't do that with the steel, I don't think. That's also a steel. Why are those both steel cards? Let me check if I can do that with those. Those are seals. Enhance cards. Yeah, no, I can't. We are going to instead. What is our deck looking like? We have not a lot of jacks. That's unfortunate. Let us make this 10 into a wild card. Why not? And then make these into lucky cards. I could get a glass card, but we're gonna do lucky instead. Lots of lucky cards. What is this on? Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. Never actually played this mode in the game. If I do the standard pack, will you please give me a jack? No! It's an ace instead! You roll? Michael's here. Michael's here. We're gonna sell this and get Michael. Yes. Whatever. Could get a negative joker. One hand. Let's get the negative joker and then play this. We don't really need that necessarily. Oh, God. Dang it. What's our full house at? 5? Well, no, we don't have supernova anymore. It doesn't matter. We don't have supernova. That doesn't matter. But let us discard that for a tarot card. 2 random planet cards. Don't mind if I do. And increase the full house because we're just about to play that. Wonderful, wonderful. This is all great. This is coming up swimmingly for me. What is this? These are both just regulars, so I guess we'll take the 9 instead. A planet card for you, my friend. Okay. Not great. Keep that 4 there. Okay, never mind the 8's here. I guess we'll do this then. Not really much else I can do. Yeah, it's 2 pair, so the values are really gone up. Oh, baby! Michael, what a win! The first one! Whoa! That doesn't usually happen! Son of a hoo-ha. I guess we're getting 4 fingers? And that's what this one is called, 4 fingers. All flushes and straights can be made with 4 cards. This is just here now. I was kind of hoping that I'd get something better, but that's okay. Alright, Jupiter. Jupiter. Get that flush up a little bit. Though, this does spell some good things for our straights. I could potentially put a pair in the straight. And that will, in fact, make things better. Unfortunately, I only have 1 hand and I don't think I'm going to win. Okay, hang on, what? That's the wrong one. Run info. Our 2 pair is 140 times 8. If we add that in there, then let me just get rid of a few cards to make sure that we don't get anything else that could potentially be helpful. Oh my goodness gracious me. Let's see them not pop off. They won't hit. They hit! They hit! They hit! They hit! They hit! Yo! Sorry, that was loud. I unlocked the Joker though. That's neat. We're on ante-8, everybody. That means we are 1 step closer to winning the game. That is a negative Joker. Why did you give me this? Why did you give me this? I don't need it. I do have to use this though. I do have to use that to increase Constellation. Ah shoot, I gotta sell 4 fingers actually. Yeah, I gotta sell that to discover this Arcana pack. Which will help with Fortune Teller, but Wheel of Fortune! Nope. That's okay. Watch as we don't get the increased banana. $21? Ooh, flips and shuffles all jokers. That's a little bit concerning considering my current order. I could re-roll the boss blind, but the other final bosses that we have, there's actually 5 in total, aren't that much better. Let's get a little bit extra money. And then see how it goes with this one. 75,000. That's gonna be a little bit tough. So let me check again. Our straights and 2 pairs are pretty much our go-tos right now. We are not going to get a straight flush. That's not going to happen. Especially now that we no longer have 4 fingers. That's definitely not going to happen. But we do have 2 pairs and we do have straights. So let's try going for straight right now. But let's keep our options open. Judgment. What do we get? Scary face. That'll be helpful. Yeah, our full house is not that good. Let's get rid of one more. And that's just a regular Queen of Hearts, so we can get rid of that. You're kidding me. Get rid of the 10. Okay. Alright. This is Mario Kart music, isn't it? Yep, it is. Double Dash. Okay. Okay. Ooh. Monkey noises. We're actually above the board now. Do I get rid of debit card? I could. We do have to get this Jumbo Celestial pack though. Very important. 2 pairs. Yeah, we don't have our straights, so I guess 2 pairs is what we're going to end up doing for the final one. We haven't gotten this Jumbo Spectral pack either, so... Oops, excuse me. Granted, we sell a credit card, we can't actually buy that particular card right now. Okay, what is going to be a wild card? Let's do this ace, that's fine. I unlocked another Joker! Okay, so we have Ouija, we have Ankh, which creates a copy of a random Joker, destroy all our Jokers, and then this one, Incantation, destroys 1 random card in your hand, adds 4 random enhanced number cards. That's fine. Chance time! There goes that 6. Oh well. We got another card unlocked as well. Wonderful. Yeah, we can't sell that and get that. Scary face is good as well. Wee. Shoot! Ah, dang it. Well, we can't get it. Even if it's detriment. I'm breaking my rules for just this once because we're right at the final boss. Okay, so I don't know where each Joker is. Placement of the Jokers matters, as we established in the first screen. If your they activate in order of left to right, and if you have your multiplication Jokers before your addition Jokers, then that's going to be a little bit of a tough situation for you. Is this? Yeah, that's just originally 6. We can get rid of that, I guess. The 8's here. Peter, the 8 is here. Okay. This will not be our final hand, per se, but this is pretty good already. Okay, that's Scary Face. And that is our Arcana card. So we just figured out which ones are which. This one is, what is it, the Pair card, and this one is Constellation. Alright. Now we do have to get rid of the Steel card in order to actually activate this one. So we'll lose a little bit there, but that's okay. It's still gonna give us a lot. And there you go! That's Balatro, everybody! We finally won a game. And now we can go into endless mode if we decide to play further, but it is way past time for me to be eating some dinner. My dad made those appetizis like an hour and a half ago, so. Anywho, this is the Seed TL9 3NMUM if you'd like to play this one yourself. And we can always go into endless mode with this one, potentially. We can also start a new run, potentially, but we made it! We won the game! So we've unlocked the Joker just for beating the game one time by reaching ante level 8. Or not by beating it, but by getting to level ante 8. We got this one, which multiplies the mult by 3 if the hand contains a diamond, a club, a heart, and a spades card. This one, if you have at least 3 wild cards in your deck, you get this one, which makes it so that hearts and diamonds count as the same suit, and spades and clubs count as the same suit, because as in a normal deck, the hearts and diamonds are both red, and the spades and clubs are both black, so. A little bit smudgy there. This one, you get if you enhance 16 cards in your deck, you get this one, and you get times 3 added, you multiply 3 to your mult if you have at least 16 enhanced cards in your full deck. And it's a driver's license, because the age of driving here, for getting a permit is 16, not for getting your license. I think that is actually 18 here nowadays. This one you get for winning a run without playing a 4 of a kind, and it multiplies by 4 your mult if you play a hand that contains a 4 of a kind at all. And this one you get for winning a run, which copies the ability of the Joker to the right, which is just the Joker that happens to be directly to the right of it. And as you can see, it also, the eyes are also staring to the right. It's copying off of that. We have also unlocked the Ghost deck, which we get for beating a run with yellow deck on any difficulty. You get spectral cards that could be appearing in shops, and you also start off with the Hex card, which adds Polychrome to a random Joker and destroys all other Jokers. Oh, we also got this one for winning a run in 18 or fewer rounds, which this Joker gains 8 chips whenever 2 is scored, and that is continuous, that accumulates over time. A lot of those Jokers accumulate over time, that's fun. But yeah, that's Balatro. We beat our first run, and we might come back to this eventually. But for now, I have to be heading off. I have to go now, my people need me. Anywho. Yeah, that's gonna be it for today. I don't know when I'm next streaming. As it stands, I don't know. If I end up streaming sometime in the evening this coming week, then it'll be like at 7 or so. EST. But otherwise, I'll probably try to stick to a streaming schedule that's primarily Saturdays and Sundays. But yeah, other than that, oh my god, I turned off my lamp. It is incredibly dark here now. Alright. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me today. I don't know when I'm streaming next. I don't know what I'll be streaming next. But yeah, that's it. That's it. Okay. Bye.